Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are joining us from. We are joining you virtually from the Journey Within in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. And let's get some announcements out of the way. The barcode screen that you see on your screen will take you directly to a pay link. If you'd like to make a donation, you can take a photo of that barcode and it will take you directly to that donation link. If you'd like to go on our website, you can donate through PayPal, or if you're so moved and you want to mail in a check, we appreciate all donations, great and small. We have a couple of classes that are coming up here. This Saturday, we have two exciting classes exploring the Akashic records of the past, present, and future with Kevin Tedeschi. And we also have this Saturday, Love, Intention, and Connection with the compassionate medium Lori Sheridan. There's a whole bunch of other classes and events on our website, so please check it out, journeywithin.org, or you can also check out hydesville.org. But let us get on with today's event. I'd like to introduce Janet Piedilato, who is a transpersonal psychologist, a complementary healthcare consultant, and an ordained minister. She holds two doctoral degrees, a doctorate in biology from New York University and a doctorate in transpersonal psychology from Saybrook University, where Janet studied with Dr. Stanley Krippner, who's renowned dream psychologist, and Dr. Eugene Taylor, Harvard scholar and William James Authority. She received her certificate in clinical training, wellness, counseling, and body, mind, and consciousness with Dr. Jean Achtenberg and Frank Lawless, a certificate in the Dr. Herb Benson Relaxation Response Therapy from Harvard University, and her certificate in clinical training and hypnosis and psychophysiological practice with Dr. Ian Weckramankner, Berkeley, California. Her publications include The Mystical Dream Tarot, which presents a novel approach to understanding imagery as a language of dreams and the guide to better comprehend oneself. Her short story, Pedia's Tales, is a tale of the imagination and the gifts of the creative life offered to a growing child. She has contributed to several books. The most recent is Journeys and Awakenings, Spiritual Wisdom for Travelers, a 7-pillar House of Wisdom publication. Janet has spent a lifetime experiencing and studying the value of altered states as represented by her visionary, dream, and shamanic experiences. Her workshops, as well as her private sessions, aim to empower individuals to achieve their highest goals by assisting them to move beyond living within the narrow confines of a life guided solely by surface perceptions to one that is enriched and guided by the working with dreams to better understand and empower the decisions of life commitments. She resides at Temenos, an environmental sanctuary co-founded with her husband and soulmate, Iggy. And I now welcome Janet Piedilato to start our summer solstice celebration.
Hello, Bobby. It's lovely to be here as usual. Always lovely to be at the Journey Within. And I welcome each and every one of you as I sit here on the East Coast of the United States. And I know that we circle the globe through this incredible ability to meet virtually. There are those of you that are down under. It is the shortest day of the year. And those of us in this hemisphere, the longest day of the year. And I find this incredibly wonderful that we all stop, we take a pause in our life to contemplate what it means. It puts our attention on the limitations of our perception. We think that the sun rises and sets. We think that we have a very long day because, in fact, our perception is so keen. But the sun is in the middle of our galaxy. It neither rises nor sets, but depending upon our distance from the sun, we have the appearance of rising and setting. And in antiquity, there were many myths about the sun rising from the great womb, the womb of the mother. It slept all night to rise and to move across the sky to bring warmth and sunlight so that we might work with our abilities. We move with our eyes, we hear with our ears, we taste, we smell, and we touch. And these senses help us to navigate the physical world. But in fact, we're very limited. The same way that we're limited in believing the sun rises and sets, the same way that we look at the solstice as a physical event, it actually is an event inside ourself. It is in us, the great sanctuary, and the sun resides as the moon resides in ourself. And we need to join the two halves of our consciousness. The sunny, waking consciousness that helps us to navigate, to communicate, and to interact with the world, as well as the intuitive, the Sora Mystica inside ourselves. And so as we gather here, and rightly, as Bobby said, we welcome everyone from the sun rising and setting, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because we are outside of time. In the ancient myths, the gods and goddesses were born outside of normal time. In ancient Egypt, there was a year of 360 days. They were excellent astronomers. They knew that there were 365 days to make a complete turn, a revolution of the earth. But they had 5 extra days between the end of one year and the beginning of the next, that they called the epigomenal days. And those were the days that the deities were born, outside of time and space. And we are born from the divine. The spirit that lies within us is divine and timeless. And as we travel through time, through the minutes and hours and days and weeks and months and years and centuries, it is only inside the spirit that's in that transcends it all. So as we begin this evening, I will be doing a ritual to focus us on our inner path, and I will be sharing a screen so that we can move through imagery. Images are the communication system of dreams, and dreams are those altered state of consciousness experience that help us to understand the truth of our nature. And as the sun rises and sets on the longest and shortest day all around the planet in the 2 hemispheres, let us join beyond a physical event to celebrate the inner sun and the Sora Mystica, the sister of the soul. So wherever you are seated, be with me here as I sit with the virtual screen of the Gaia Anderson Museum in Old Cairo, Egypt. There are 2 doorways, and those 2 doorways go to the beyond, to the Amduat, where all who have ever walked this planet exist. They exist in the golden fields, in the mansions of millions of years. There is no death, but there is a passage from this physical life into the amazing afterlife. Each one of our ancestors and each one of all of our family and beloved are with us this evening. And as I raise the candle, I'd like you to bring to mind and perhaps write in chat the names of those that you would like to come forth to be with us as we honor this space all over this planet. North, south, east, and west, above, below, before, behind, and all about us. Let all the spirits rise. Let us be together here. For a moment, in quiet, bring forth those that you would like to have with you. And I remember all of those who ever lived and perhaps have no one to remember them now. Let them be remembered beyond the names that they carried with their waking reality forms. Formed on the potter's wheel, each one of us will come into form, and we will be freed and live in the eternal beyond all form. And I bring forward all of those who suffer on this planet today, injustice, disease, and hardship. Let us bring light into their world. Let them know that they are never alone. There is a message that was given by the oracle at Delphi. Vocatis atque non vocatis, Deus aderit. Called or not, the deity, the God, is present. Whether or not we realize it, we are never alone. The deity does not depend upon us for existence and is always there to guide and help us, whether or not we are aware. So I ask this evening that the awareness grows in those dark corners of this planet. Let there be light, let there be compassion, and let there be hope for every being, from the smallest to the largest. For all that is, nothing is insignificant. As the incense rises, let it rise in the air and move with the clouds and circle this planet with its sweet fragrance. And let that fragrance warm all hearts so that peace, harmony, serenity, tranquility may fill this planet, so that justice and Ma'at, supreme balance, will rise and grow on the landscape from the high mountains to the low valleys, in the sea, in the air, and on the earth. Let the incense with its fragrance surround all being. Water is sacred. There is a ritual, the ritual of tea, which has been practiced for centuries. There are small tea houses, and individuals have paths that lead to the tea house and the serenity and peace that one finds within. But interestingly enough, at the very entry of the path, there's often a water ladle, and the visitor takes the ladle and pours water into the ladle. And the ladle is used to clear the path. Imagine yourself at the pathway to a house of meditation, of serenity, a place to sit and to enjoy tea. But before you enter, you pour on the pathway and you sweep away the dust and you clear the path. It is not the physical path that we clear when we move on the way of tea, when we move to enter that sacred sanctuary. It is the dust and the clutter of our brains that we clear. And so symbolically, we clear the path I ask that each and every one of you clears the path of what troubles you, what perplexes you. The problems of today will go to dust and be gone. They're transient. But what lies within is eternal. The connection with the deity who is always present, even in our toughest days when we think we walk alone. Vocatis atque non vocatis, Deus aderit. We are never alone. And so as we enter closer to the doorway of the tea house, we begin a ritual with a gift by the goddess of compassion. In the Orient, the goddess of compassion is called Kuan Yin, and she's often shown with a jug of water. And there is a story, a myth about the origin of tea. There was a monk who traveled the fields, and he'd listened to the wind which led him forward. He carried within him a small bowl, a wooden bowl, and he'd stop along the way. He'd make a fire, and he'd boil water to put in his bowl, and he'd listen to hear where the wind was going to lead him. And one day it led him to the very apex of a mountain, the very height and top. And there was a hermitage, and it was vacant. And behind it was a garden with a statue of the iron goddess of compassion, Kuan Yin. He knew his days of traveling, of wandering were over. He righted the statue, and he tended the garden. And one day, as he boiled his water, the leaves fell into his bowl, and he discovered the lady's plants were tea. All who visited him were given plants, and so the world was filled with tea. Tea, the gift of Kuan Yin. And she shared this secret with him, that in the very roots of the trees, of the bushes, were Camellia sinensis secret, that which would give peace and serenity to the heart, and clarity and cleanliness to the mind, L-theanine and catechins. And so this gift comes to us so that we might begin our path. The tea is only the way, not the destination. It's that path that we cleanse ourselves, prepare ourselves to enter into the sanctuary, the abode of the immortals. I've taken the tea, the gift of the goddess, and I've weighed and measured it. I warm my bowl, and I empty it. The green, green, green of the earth, that inside each and every one of us is a greening, a growth that we all seek. And the red of the wooden bowl through a veil of alchemy that says we seek enlightenment and we seek union. I once again lift my ladle. Two ounces are measured by the clever of the artisan who allowed the inside to show. Think of yourself, the cleansing that we need, breaking open the crust of our unknowing, of our being stuck, and helping us to be released. take my whisk. And I look upon the greening and the steam that rises. And I begin to whisk, 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 whisk away the chaos in my mind. Whisk the chaos in the mind of all on the planet who suffer, who grieve, who seek answers for the perplexing problems and questions of their life. And look how much lighter. Look how much lighter. Slowly, I look and I raise this, like a chalice, like that which was raised in ancient mystery traditions that says, find the hidden one within. See not the tea, but the way to enlightenment, to understanding the truth of ourselves, to union with the hidden, to opening the heart, to understand that we are all truly the body of the beyond, of the divine, one spirit, spread upon all the being on the planet, honoring it for the beauty of each. Think of all of those that you would like to bring forward to be with us here and now. Remember, this is the path, not the destination. And although it's only one day, a solstice, and we meet again on an equinox, what about every day? Raising the chalice of your morning brew of pure water and taking a few moments to realize that that water once ran in the river Nile, once traveled in the clouds and the mists on the high mountains above the tea plants, traveled in the Amazon, traveled in the Mississippi, traveled in the Rhine and the Danube, traveled in all the great and small, in all being. It's the same water that travels within us. Can you not take a minute in the morning, instead of rushing hastily out? I raise my bowl of tea every morning, and I think of all the artisans, all of the growers, all of those tea plants all over the world, transported into my cup. And that cup takes me beyond all limitations. And this is where this journey is meant to lead. So quietly and gently, we go now. We go to that sacred place. The dreamer, how she lies upon her cot. She dreams of the beloveds. And yet that altered state of consciousness need not be limited to sleep alone. During the day, as we move through our chores, as we stand online and sit in offices and wait for appointments, do thoughts not rise that take us to distant places and different times and memories, that bring forward those who once walked with us, who now live in the abode of the immortals? Every time these images come, they are gifts of the divine. And so here on the solstice, let us remember that it's every day that we should honor the rising and the setting of the sun within us, the brightest of our days and the darkest of our days, because all matter is a pair of opposites. From the waters of the depths of the deepest seas, and the healing rays from the above, all around us, above, below, before, behind, and all about us. Great Spirit, be with us. Fill all hearts. Accompany all being, that each knows they are never alone. The waves may crash upon the house of our being, and yet the moon will shine down with light, and divinity will appear. The sun, rising or setting in a great stone circle, are we not joined with those whose hands shaped what that circle looks like? Over the centuries, it remains, and their energy is there, the same as I place my fingers on the circle of my cup. The artisan that shaped this cup all across the world. I shall never meet that artisan, and yet my fingers join with theirs. Eternally, our energy is there, and when I'm gone, who else will hold this chalice? I will smile upon them and hopefully rise to let them know they're never alone. The sun, so beautiful, over a stone circle. In our lives, where is our stone circle? The ancestors entered this. They entered this place, we believe, for special rituals. It was their sacred space, or so we believe. My sacred place is a temenos inside me, and the way to that sacred place is through my rituals and my remembering. Let each and every one of us bring forward a memory of a place where we feel at home, where our sun is rising in spite of the chaos of the transient world around us. Think for a moment. Where is home inside you? Where is that feeling? Inside ourselves is the true solstice. The waters of life can crash upon us. Sorrow and tragedy, accidents, disappointments, failures. And yet they open our heart. They awaken us to possibilities. Like a seed that has to be broken open in order for the cotyledon to rise and the stem to give way to flowers and leaves, to fruit, to seeds cycling over and again. Without the seed breaking open, no flower would ever form. Let us ponder upon our lives. There are no accidents, and the sorrows of waking are temporary. They're part of our physical transient existence. That light, that sun that shines, that the ancients looked upon with great joy, that sun sets and spends hours in darkness in the womb of the earth to learn to be empowered, and so do we. Here is the portal of the great temple of Dendera, about 3 hours outside of the city of Luxor. This is a magnificent temple. magnificently preserved, as much of it was submerged in sand. It's dedicated to the great mother goddess Hathor, she of music, of love, and of compassion. And it is she that welcomes us to the beyond. She is another form of Kuan Yin, and all forms are merely doorways to the hidden. For all deities represent the beloved beyond name and form. But this is where we go. We go into the place of love, into our hearts. The solstice awakens us to the great goddess. She lifts that sun high. Longest day, shortest day. One enters this magnificent place, and the ceilings are filled with the images. Here she gives birth to the sun. For centuries, priests and priestesses would climb to the rooftop, and they would sing and dance and look to the sky. And yet at night, Hathor swallows the sun. The sun goes back into her, waiting for the morn, when it'll be born again. There is in the temple joy, music, celebration. There's also a temple of Hathor on the island of Philae, outside of the great complex of the goddess Isis. And that small little temple gives us a message. It is a joyful temple dedicated to the return of the goddess to the Isle of Philae from her trips abroad, outside of Egypt. Egypt was considered the known world, and Hathor was considered the great mother, who, when we pass, nurtures and accepts us to the Amduat, to the other world. She feeds us and gives us the beverage, the nectar of welcome. And then she sends us to be returned and reborn. The mythology and the imagery showing her leaving and returning. Is this not you and I? Is this not the hope that all who pass to the Amduat, to live forever, and like the Great Mother, accepting the many returns of the sun, so is there the return of all being. This is the Great Mother. This is one of the capitals on one of the towering images inside that great temple of Dendera. And here is the astrological ceiling, held up by all of the deities, and in the very center, Tawit, giving birth to all. You and I, all part of this history, because we are all one. The history lives on within us. The same elements are recycled over and again. Matter and energy, never created, never destroyed, but always turned, that each and every one of us welcomes that knowledge of union. And here at the solstice, we see that with our eyes we are limited. We are limited. Our perception is limited by our locations. Rising sun, setting sun, longest day, shortest day. It's all a matter of perception and location and physicality. But we are beyond all that when we comprehend that the sun is always in the same place, shining magnificently in its place in the center of our cosmos. If our perception in waking reality is limited, this is a day to show us to awaken to the truth of our being, and the joy of the Great Mother lifting up that sun, telling us this is the heaven. Life and its cycles are always present. Time, like a great river, flows through our veins. Necessity, anarchy, the Mother giving birth to all of us, and Clotho, weaving the fabric of our being, and Lachesis, measuring, but atrophy, setting the goal, cutting when an end should be and a beginning should happen. We have endings and beginnings and chapters of our life. We have books, we have volumes, and all experiences aim to open our hearts, to help us to stop and contemplate the movement of all, and especially now to see the inner solstice like a great atom moving around inside of ourselves, understanding that what begins will end here. What begins will end, and all of us will return home. The Alpha and the Omega, our true home, is that sanctuary within. We never have to worry about not returning. For a few moments, in quiet, turn your eyes to within. Turn your eyes to that place of contemplation and sanctity. As I look upon the green of the water, I take the gift of the lady. I whip it and whip it. I speak to it. Cleanse me, cleanse all. And for a moment, let all be at a place of serenity. Find that place. Is there a beloved in that place? Is there one who once walked the earth with you? Feel the space. Feel the incense, the fragrance of the divine. Who is it that comes? Feel their hand upon your shoulder. Feel the joy in their heart at the opportunity to connect. They bring a gift. Open your hand and allow whatever image that wishes to come to rise within you. The image is a doorway. Open it. Where does it lead you? Feel the space. Feel the sanctity. Feel the slow beating of the heart. Feel the tingling in the fingers, in the palms of the hand, in the soles of the feet. Be relaxed and calm, and allow the one to come, to be with you, to bring forth a memory, to celebrate the solstice with you. Let the light enlighten, guide, and comfort. Let it shine upon you. Feel its warmth. Feel its gift. Allow it to circle around the heart. The heart beats, and the heartstrings play like the strings of a lute. Is there a special song, a melody, a tune that wishes to rise? What comes to mind? Allow the song to be sung. Perhaps there are lyrics. It is a connection with your beloved, the one who comes. Feel the butterfly of hope inside you. Move from its gestating seed. Move from its cocoon. Feel the power of it. Feel yourself free, floating, rising to the magnificent ceiling in the temple at Dendera, the space of Hathor, of Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. All along the ceiling, the deities carrying the bark of the sun. All along the ceiling, you and I, carrying the great, great ball of light within us. Feeling light, feeling joy, feeling peace. The breath of life slowly moving in and out, in and out. The same breath that moved through the many ancestors and many generations and centuries of those who came before us. What messages it holds. We are not alone. We walk in the footsteps of all who were here before us. And in our fingerprints lie the story of humanity. All within us, never alone, traveling through time, seeking our way. Traveling, traveling, moving to the great ceiling in the temple of Dendor, seeing the sky above us, moving, to allow us to grow and open doorways like the great god Ganesh, to cut through illusions. Feel that beloved, the one who wishes to be with you. Feel him, feel her, feel them. Feel the joy that runs through you. And remember that life is filled with transient movement and change, sacrifice, disappointment, loss, but we offer them all for the good of all, for harmony and for balance, for ma'at, justice. Let us make worthy offerings of thanksgiving. At this moment, quietly, make your offering of what you are thankful for this night of the solstice. all of our gratitude and thanksgiving be heard in the abode of the immortals. And as we make our offerings, let us remember yesterday, the yesterday that we build upon today. Symbolically, I take my chawan, my beautiful, beautiful bowl in hand. I pour more water upon it, more cleansing water, and in honoring yesterday being joined by today, I take my chawan that is empowered by electricity, not because I need it, but because I honor the fact that here and now we have added something to a ritual that's been practiced for centuries. Once again, I have a froth upon my beautiful, beautiful tea. Let this be a message to each and every one of us. Let us not be stuck in the way that we've done things over and again for days, months, years, decades. Let us always be open to accepting something new, honoring the fact that we build upon yesterday, that today might be better, presenting it for tomorrow, that those that come tomorrow may go even further. Honor what you know, but don't be stuck in it. Don't allow it to hold you back. Be willing to take in hand something that was never present centuries ago, to add it into a ritual, saying, yes, I live in a different century, and this is my honoring, and I am open to learning more and to adding new inventions, new discoveries. This is the way we learn. We give thanks for the wisdom, the loving companionship, and all that's been left to us by all who once walked upon this earth. And we honor those who today make advances and bring us forward. But we don't forget yesterday. Neither do we allow it to hold us back. And so we find that doorway. Think of your life. Think of where you might be stuck. What can you do? Where can you go? Is there something you might be open to that you've never done before? That you don't wish to do because you say that's the way something was done? Can you not be open to say, perhaps maybe now we can do it differently? Hear all the voices. Be open to the changes that come, and make wise decisions, and welcome the new with an open heart that allows you to learn and grow like the green of the matcha in my chawan. Let that rise within you, that spirit of change and excitement and welcome, like a plane rising from the water. We, as youth, move forward by bringing the ancestors with us. We carry them, honoring them, and this is where we get to something new. The first tarot card, often called the Fool, in my own set in the Mystical Dream Tarot, I called this card the Innocent, Because, like the innocent, when we throw off all those preconceived notions, when we break through the seed coat to grow, we are innocent. And with that childlike innocence, we're willing to be open to the new, like babes, empowered. Life, stability, and strength, gifts of the inner solstice. And this is what I wish for each and every one of you, that we can move forward together, that we learn from one another, that we're never stuck in our own beliefs, that we never think we know everything, and that we don't need to learn from others. The solstice is inside us, that great light that allows us to move forward. And so as I take the light in ending our ritual, may this light burn brightly in every one of you, not just tonight, on the longest and shortest day around this planet, but on every day. Take the moment in the morning or evening to sit and say, the solstice is in me, and I am opened and empowered, and everything I see with my eyes, with my waking eyes, shows me that I'm limited, my limited perception in time and space, and yet the eternal is always present, like all of the ancestors who have moved to the great mansion of millions of years. Someday we will join them, but they haven't left us. Vocatis atque non vocatis, Deus aderit. The divine is always with us, and so are those ancestors who left the sarcophagus of their bodies behind, but their spirits dwell forever. Abundant blessings to each and every one of you on this special solstice, above, below, before, behind, and all around us. May the solstice empower us and empower all those in the darkest corners of the planet. May we be like the sun, bringing light, smiles, welcome, and compassion, like the goddess Kuan Yin, to all who come within our sphere. Abundant blessings to each and every one of you. A beautiful morning to you down under in Sydney and Melbourne, and down in all of the other part of the hemisphere in New Zealand as well. And those of you here in this hemisphere, as night comes upon us, may you have blessed dreams to carry you forth. Abundant blessings.
Thank you, Dr. Janet. That was a beautiful ceremony. And thank you all for attending. Have a great summer. And just to remind you that there will be classes going on all summer long. So please remember to check the website. And if you found that very moving and would like to make your donation, you can always do that at any time. Thank you. God bless. And we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thank
Okay,
you.
abundant blessings, Bobby. It was lovely seeing you.
You too. Thank you.
Great to be here. Happy